Good morning. Good morning. It's Tuesday, and I hope you're doing well today and that you had a nice weekend. I realized that this is my 60th post. Do you believe that? I can't believe it. And I'm not even sure anymore if it's making a difference, but I committed myself to this when I first began quarantining myself, and I kind of feel like I need to see it through a bit longer. Anyway, I want to begin with these beautiful words from the book of Hosea. It's in the 11th chapter, the 4th verse. I led them with cords of human kindness, with ropes of love. I lifted the yoke from their neck and bent down and fed them. There is a small Southern California garden spider that builds its nest between the branches of a bush and then deposits its eggs, attaching a silky strand to each one. And when each egg hatches, the mother attaches another thread to the babies, called spiderites. And then, if the nest is disturbed in any way and the little spiders try to rush out, these strands, which are connected to the body of the mother, warn her of the potential danger to her babies. And she quickly pulls them back into the nest to protect them from injury. Hosea writes that we are linked to God with ropes of love, these strong cords of kindness that can't be broken. And when the enemy attacks, sort of like this virus, and we're tempted to flee from our homes, he quickly draws us back to himself to protect us from harm. Yesterday I saw lots of scenes of people celebrating Memorial Day. There were parties all around the country and people not wearing masks, not staying apart. In Point Pleasant, there was a freedom rally of folks wanting to get back out into the world. And I think protesting is fine if it's done the right way. It is our right to do that, except for what I saw in Kentucky. In Kentucky, gun-toting folks hung an effigy of the governor from a tree, and a minister joined in with them, saying these words. This has been one of the biggest shams in world history. Grown men have been hiding in their homes, nearly wetting their pants over this invisible enemy that nobody sees. Where is it at? Let it come out and face us. I serve the one true and living God who conquers all enemies. Why should we give our freedom and our liberties up for such fear and propaganda and all the garbage that is coming out of Frankfurt today? Do you believe that? I was so ashamed to hear a man of faith talk like that, and I wondered, what kind of Christian example does he portray to the world? How is this drawing anyone to Christ, let alone helping the country right now? Whenever I hear people say this virus isn't really all that bad, and we just need to get back out into society, that freedom over fear chant, I'm reminded of my minister friend who lost 3 family members she loved very much to the coronavirus. And my heart breaks because I know the grief that goes with the loss of a loved one. I'm sure you do too. But I'm also reminded of my friend who needs to get back to work to support his family, whom he loves very much. And my heart breaks because I know what it's like to be poor. It sucks and it's scary, especially if you have children. So, what is the answer? Well, I can tell you it's not anger and hostility. It's not hanging an effigy of the governor from a tree in Kentucky. It shouldn't be politically motivated. It's certainly not believing in a make-believe virus. This virus is real. It's devastating to many on so many levels, and we need to work together to figure out the best way to get our lives back. Truth is, I don't know the answer. But what I do know is we need kindness and patience. And we need God now more than ever to give us some wisdom and tell us how we are to be. There's a great verse in Colossians 3:12 that says, therefore, as God's chosen people, that's That's us. Holy and dearly loved, clothe yourselves with compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. In the Greek, that word clothe literally means put on. What Paul is saying here is that when we wake up in the morning, we ought to get dressed physically, yeah, but also spiritually and emotionally. In fact, we should ask ourselves, what kind of attitude am I going to wear today? And as people of faith, Paul tells us that what we should put on is compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. See, what Paul is saying is that these things are a choice we make, something we decide to put on every day as a practical expression of love, of who we are as followers of Christ. The thing is, these qualities are oftentimes so underrated, especially kindness. We like to equate it with being nice or pleasant as though it's mainly about smiling, getting along, not ruffling feathers. That makes it seem like a rather mundane virtue. But the Bible presents a very different and compelling portrait of kindness. For example, when the Apostle Paul laid out his case to the church in Corinth, he did so by detailing the trials he endured while sharing the gospel, the strength God gave him despite his suffering, and the spiritual fruit that God produced in his life. And surprisingly, kindness made the list of spiritual fruit. Paul would, in effect, say, you want proof that I'm an apostle? Okay, here it is. I'm kind. Yeah. See, Paul knew better than anyone the effect of true kindness. It's this supernatural change of our hearts toward people, even when they don't deserve it and aren't kind to us in return. How do we learn what this kindness looks like so we can emulate it? That's easy. We just look to Jesus. We imitate Jesus. We do what he did. For example, we work at loving people. All people. That means everyone, including our enemies. You know, those folks that really tick us off. We try and do good even when we don't want to or feel like it, especially to those we think don't deserve it. We give what we can whenever we can, expecting nothing in return. And perhaps the hardest of all, we forgive. I don't think I have to explain that one, do I? The thing is, kindness is a part of God's nature, and as people made in his image, it's part of ours too. At least it should be. And yeah, there'll be times we just don't feel like being kind. Times it's really hard being kind. So what do? We work at it. You know, right now, shockingly and sadly, our country is very divided. And good people on both sides are becoming nasty and turning pretty ugly. But if we could just practice a little bit of kindness, we could change for the better. And so would our world. In fact, researchers have found a positive correlation between happiness and kindness. And it's not just that happier people are kinder or kinder people are happier. One of the studies shows that engaging in a random act of kindness, like offering a helping hand, showing compassion, being a good neighbor, saying a word of encouragement or gratitude, even just giving a smile, improves your happiness level and often changes the other person as well. In the end, the researchers concluded kindness makes you happier, improves your immune system, and lowers the rate of depression. Wow, that's pretty awesome. I read that and I thought, why aren't we all doing this all the time? Well, today, maybe we can begin to. See, I'm thinking that if we really want to get our lives back, perhaps the best way is to be the kind of people we want others to be to us, and we know what that is. Look, this virus is contagious, but so is kindness. How about we spread some of that around this week and see what happens? Maybe it will even spread to others. Well, at least that's what I'm going to try to do. So, my friends, stay safe, stay home, stay hopeful. We can do this. We can get through this pandemic if we stick together and stick with God. Please remember to keep washing your hands and wearing a mask when you're out. And always look for the blessing. Maybe even try to be a blessing yourself. I love you. I'm praying for you, and I hope to see you tomorrow.